In this bonus video, we are going to talk about, is my product idea good or bad? In module 2, we are identifying our profitable customer and our profitable products. Now we are talking about how to determine if those ideas that we're coming up with, or maybe as we're expanding our business, we start with some ideas, they're working okay, but now we want to bring in new products. We know one way to do that is through asking customers to tell us what they want, and we're giving them what they want. That's the best way to come up with new products for your shop. Honestly, that is the number one way. Sometimes we come up with new ideas ourselves. This video is going to help you determine how to test product ideas. In this lesson, we're going to cover how to validate or invalidate our product ideas. We're going to talk about how to test products out after they have checked the boxes. Maybe we've looked at them, we validated them, but now we need to actually do a test. And then I'm going to talk about how to move on from an idea if it's just not working. So you have an idea. We know back in module 2, we identified a profitable customer, and now maybe we think we have some ideas for profitable products that we want to bring into our shop, but how do we know where to start and how do we know if it will be profitable? I am going to take you through the 10-step opportunity checklist. Now, this is to run your ideas through. So every time you have an idea and you want to kind of vet your own ideas, this is the 10-step checklist to identify if it really is an opportunity or if it's just maybe not worth trying. First, though, I want you to type in a short tail keyword and do a search for that. Nothing super specific, but more of a short tail keyword that represents the product. And then do the same thing with a long tail keyword that is very specific to what you had in mind. I want you to identify if there are bestsellers, Etsy's picks, and popular now listings tagged within the search results. This is going to tell us if it's even popular enough and getting enough sales volume to get those types of tags. And are there listings with a high quantity in that little tag that says, 20 in other shoppers' carts? It'll say in red right below the listing how many have been added to someone else's cart. You should be seeing listings with those things because that tells you that there's at least enough traffic and interest and purchasing around these things on Etsy for an opportunity for you to take some of the market share. If there's none of those things, if there's no bestsellers, no Etsy's picks, no popular now, then go back to some of those short tail keywords. Make sure you didn't miss anything. The short tail keywords will have more competition, so more likely to have those types of tags. However, if you do not see a product that is similar to what your idea is, or if you see it and it just, the top ranking thing doesn't even seem like it's getting much traction, doesn't have any tags on it or anything, that might be a red flag. The next thing we want to look at is how do the listing photos look on page 1 of search results for both of these. So short tail keywords and long tail keywords around the item. That's your idea. Are the photos really, really good? You're looking at them, you're like, wow, these look really professional. Wow, that's going to be hard to beat. This signals high competition. You can look at things like eRank, Everbee, Marmalade, Sales Samurai to see what the competition is. But, honestly, it's like looking at a basketball team on paper and looking what their stats are. You're not really seeing them in action. You're not really able to size yourself up to them. When there's not a visual of what actually is working and you're just seeing like tiny, tiny little thumbnail, are these listing photos not very good? And maybe if they're not very good, are you still seeing some listing photos that are not very good with tags that are bestseller, Etsy's picks, and popular now, or that have items added to shoppers' carts? So if you see that combination of bad listing photos and then a bestseller, Etsy pick, popular now tag, that's a huge signal that there's an opportunity here. Also, if it's a terrible listing photo and then you see some of this item added to shoppers' carts, that signals a huge opportunity. Okay, number 3, are the best selling listings on that search results page optimized with SEO in the titles, tags, and descriptions? Check out the SEO of the top sellers. Are they optimized or are they terrible? Are they just filled with short tail keywords with a ton of commas? Are they not specific? Are they not very targeted? Are they very general? And you know that if you had titles and keywords and descriptions like that, like you would never get any visibility. But maybe since they've been on a lot longer and maybe they're an older shop with a better track record, they're able to get by with that type of SEO or non-existent SEO. That would tell you there's a huge opportunity in the market if some of these best-selling listings are not at all optimized. Number 4, does the competition offer any level of customization? Look at who you'd be going up against for these products. Look against who would be your main competitor. Look at who owns the market right now. If it does seem like someone's owning the market, do they offer customization? If they do, it's not like you could use customization as a way to compete, to have a competitive edge in that way. But if they don't offer any customization, that could be an in for you. That could be your foot in the door. And that could be the opportunity for you to take some market share by incorporating some level of customization. Remember, it doesn't need to be a lot. It could literally be adding a single initial to something. It could be giving them a couple color options. It could be just letting them customize some element like color of the zipper or something. Remember, customization, there's different levels of depth to that and how detailed you want to be. But if the competition is not offering any customization, consider doing this. This could be an opportunity for you to get your foot in the door. Does the competition offer options such as size and color? Do they have just one size, one colorway, maybe 1 or 2 options? Maybe it's very limited. Maybe it's like what you see is what you get. This could signal an opportunity. And customers on Etsy love a little bit of choice, right? Just a small aspect of choice. This could be an opportunity for you. This could signal, yes, there's a hole that you could fill. Next, what are the reviews like for the competition on these items? Does the market leader have good reviews? Are the reviews a little bit mixed? Are they not all positive? Maybe they're not getting many reviews at all. Maybe their review rate is like super, super low. That could signal poor customer service. And poor customer service is an opportunity for you in your new product idea. Take a look at the reviews. Look at not just the reviews, but the review rate. So divide the total number of shop reviews divided by their overall number of orders at the top of the page. Next, I want you to take a look and see where your competition is located and who they are selling to or serving, what geographical area they are serving. Are they serving the same geographic market as you would be, or are they in a completely different market? In my business, when I am looking for opportunities, a lot of my business is from US customers, right? When I'm looking for opportunities for specifically for the handmade category, I will look and see in other markets, what is really trending? What kind of items are doing really well in Australia for my type of customer? Maybe in the UK, maybe in Ireland, maybe in Canada. So when I see super successful shops who would be my competition, but geographically they're not because they're really serving a different market, I see, are there any top selling items in these shops that I know customers from the US just simply wouldn't buy because of the shipping cost or whatever it may be, the lead time, the transit speed, anything like that. Oftentimes that's where I will get some of my next ideas. What are the top sellers of shops not in my market? And that, success leaves clues. So you don't want to copy them, but it can give you an idea for a new product type or category or something that you haven't considered yet. And you can be the first in the market in your geographical area. You could be the first to the market and become a market leader in the US or in the UK for an item that's doing really, really well in a different market. Number 8, what is the competitor's price, including shipping? So if they are, offering free shipping, but if they have shipping separate, make sure to add that in. Can you offer a lower price initially when you launch your product by at least 10% and still see a profit? Ask yourself that. Number 9, is there one clear market leader for this product, or is the market share dispersed more evenly? If you are going up against a shop that do multi 6 figures a year on this one type of product, they have 500 listings of this one type of product, they own the market, their pricing is sharp because they're doing a volume play here, right? They're almost mass producing this one thing, right? So their efficiency and their supply costs, like their material costs, are going to be very low, and it's going to be very hard to compete against someone like that. Just take a look, see what the barrier to entry is for this, and see what level of business the market leader is doing. If there is one market leader, maybe there's just a market leader, but maybe they're doing 5, 10, 15 orders a month. Maybe it's just like hobby type of thing for them. If there's a market leader where it's like, wow, they have 100,000 sales and they probably have 20 employees behind them, they're not going to go down very easily. They're not going to let you take their market share very easily. They won't go down without a fight, and it's probably not a battle that you want to attempt unless you can differentiate enough so they don't feel like you are a threat. If they perceive you as direct competition, or if they are threatened by you, they will potentially try to take you out. As someone who is in that market leader position, I just want to be honest about how they're thinking when they see someone come in as perceived threat. The 10th thing that we're going to do is to check something like eRank, Everbee, Marmalade, Sales Samurai, whatever it is. This is totally optional. I recommend just the free version, and you're just going to look at search volume versus competition level. I did not use any of these tools for building my business, and I think these are completely unnecessary to build a multi 6-figure business. I don't think these things are essential or necessary. But if you want to run your ideas through these tools, sure, have at it. And I'm going to walk you through how that would look, how it can benefit you. The point here is that we're not taking any data from those tools literally. It's really all directional, looking at the relationship of search volume to competition level. That's something that we can take directional information from. We're not trying to figure out if we can rely on making $20,000 on this specific item. We're just looking at directional information to see where opportunity could be. Let's